Check out this bike. This is a very rare, very unique 1970s mini bike. I don't think I've ever bought a rarer mini bike than this. Just picked this thing up for 350 bucks. This is called a Trapper. Check out the name. Cool logo too. So these were originally sold in the 70s. I think only a couple thousand were sold. And they were targeting people that used it in mud, dirt, sand, water, basically advertising it as all-terrain. You can see the big fat tires in the front and the rear. And the engine is very unique in this bike. So this is actually a Chrysler 10 horsepower 2-stroke engine. What looks to be like a little snowmobile carb on there. And Chrysler actually bought out West Bend Motors, I believe it's called. And that's why this engine became a Chrysler. And these engines were originally used in the 60s on racing go-karts. And this thing actually has a torque converter on there as well. And they said these engines can reach speeds of 60 miles an hour with that torque converter. So very, very fast for a mini bike. Extremely fast. And then you can see the serial number 1392, so it's a very low number. See Track and Sport Incorporated, Dearborn Heights, Michigan. And this is all original. This paint, this fiberglass, tires, everything is original on this bike. And you can see the seat has a pretty good rip in it. Looks like a mouse took a bite out of it. But yeah, everything is original, which is pretty cool. Even has the original cables, bars, and grips. So definitely a unique find, what that fiberglass body looks like. Basically just protecting the rider from the belt and the mud. But look at the big exhaust going in the back. Thing is huge. Really cool little engine though. So there's not much to it. It's basically an engine with a frame and wheels. But I think with that torque converter that adds a lot of speed. And that's what people liked, along with the torque. But today's goal is going to be to get this one up, running and driving by the end of the video. And I don't think this thing has ran in probably 20 years. So it should be a very good challenge for us today. So a little walk around with the bike here. It's funny what color they went with. It's like a speckled yellow. And that's original. So kind of a interesting color choice there. Almost like a puke green. Green yellow. Like the brake cable's off of it. Throttle cable is kind of janky on there. I don't think it has any lights. I think there are kits available you could order. But yeah, no headlight, no tail light. So this thing's pretty simple. But still looks pretty cool. Should be pretty fun in the snow if we can get this thing up, running and driving today. But it does pull over. It does feel like it has a little compression. Hopefully enough to start it. Alright, let's start taking a closer look at this thing. So gas tank, we'll take a look. This is not plastic. That is a metal gas tank. There is some gas in there. Check that out. Based on the condition of the cap, I'm guessing the tank is going to look too good in there. Yeah, there's some old gas in there. Whole tank is pretty much rusty. But it's not too bad. I mean, it's bad, but yeah, that looks like really old fuel in there. So, gas tank is gonna need some work. Here's the petcock. Let's see if that works. That's all locked up. Yeah, that is not good. That looks like an inline filter for the gas line. There is a little adjuster there. And it looks like on the front wheel there is a grease fitting. We'll have to hit those up. before we take it for the first ride. I think what we're gonna first do is take off the fiberglass body so we can get a better look down here. Just like that. Check this out. You can see it's all fiberglass. Got your drive shaft here. Looks like there's a brake here. Then your clutch. Very interesting. Are there grease fittings anywhere on here? Not seeing any grease fittings. Huh. Alright, we're gonna hit those chains. On the chains. It's freed up. Belt looks to be in decent condition. That's good. I was hoping it would still have that belt on there. Alright. Yeah, chains are a little stiff. That's probably why this thing was not very easy to push. Yeah, it's that chain binding up a little bit. Getting a little bit better. Alright, let's start taking a look at the engine here. So you can see it does pull over. Let's take out that spark plug. See what this plug looks like. It looks like it was running pretty good at one point. Let's turn it over now. See if it's a little smoother. Ooh, not much. A little sticky yet. Huh. And a little Marvel Mystery Oil going in. Alright. Pull this thing over a couple more times. I'm just gonna spray a little bit in here too. There we go. Getting a little smoother. I think the pull start was just a little locked up. it doesn't want to grab at all. There we go. Huh. I don't think I like that penetrating oil. It's not grabbing at all anymore. Let's take this off. Investigate that. Here's the pull start. That's pretty smooth in there. Let's see what's going on with this thing. So these guys come out like that when you pull it over. They go back in, see that? And then those grab right here and turn this machine over. So let's just see, why is that not? So what these do is these expand, see that? Like that, these two guys expand. And those ride right in here. So I put penetrating oil in there. So that probably got rid of the friction. Let's clean that out. We're gonna lube everything up in there. And then we'll clean it out. Alright, so these little guys are not springing out anymore as much. I'm just gonna take this apart, see what's going on. Take that clip off. That was like that. Little spring. In there. Little spacer. And these are just like that. They spring apart. There's another little spacer in there. That's basically it. I don't know. Does that just use centrifugal force? And huh. It doesn't spin at all. So let's put it all back together. We'll clean everything off. Got your other spacer that goes on. Clean that one off. You've got your spring. Your washer. Looks like it's working. Alright, let's get the spark plug in. See if we get anything here. Guys, nothing. There's a switch over here. There we go. Look at that. Nice spark. Oh, we're losing spark. No, it's not spark. We lost spark. Huh. Yeah, I think the points are dirty. It's coming back a little bit, but it's not consistent. So I think this whole cover can come off, and we can try to get to those points. So let's see. Now this thing should come off. Let's make sure we're still not getting spark. Try to ground it out right to the engine here. Not very consistent spark. Alright, so let's see. This one off. Came off pretty easily. There's the nut. This thing can pull right off. There's a lock washer on there. Not sure how you get this flywheel off. Doesn't look like there's any type of puller that you can use. It's interesting. Yeah, how do you get that off? There's really no way to get in there. Alright, we tried prying on this, trying to get this flywheel off. There's no way to get a puller in here anywhere. We had this nut off too, and there's no place for a puller anywhere. These little holes here don't have threads, so I'm not sure what you're supposed to do to get that flywheel off. I'm guessing it's supposed to just pull right off, but it's not doing that. So what we did was I just spun this around for probably 10 minutes, and eventually we're now getting consistent spark. I think the points were just a little dirty, and the more they were touching as we spun this around, the more they got cleaned off. So check this out. Now we're getting pretty consistent spark. do this, the better it gets. So that's pretty good. I'd say that's pretty consistent. So luckily, we were able to get spark. If this thing has a problem again, I don't know what we're gonna do because you can't get this flywheel off. So, very interesting design. Like I said, I'm sure it's supposed to just pull right off, but it's not doing that. And I don't want to break the case behind here, or break something we don't have to. So, we're gonna leave it like that, and hopefully that's good enough spark to allow this thing to fire up. Alright, we got the pull start back on. It seems to be working now for some reason. So we're going to do a compression test. I'd like to see above 90. It probably won't run if it's not above 90. So let's just see what we get. Hopefully the pull start works here. Alright, here we go. Oh man, that's pretty good. That compression is really high. What the heck? 120. That is perfect. That is really good compression. This thing should fire up. So we have spark and compression. We just need fuel. Alright, we're gonna try to get this carb off. This line is really brittle on here. Gonna heat that up. There we go. Ooh. Oh, there's not a whole lot in there. You can see the rust coming through. Ooh, that is dark. Let's see if we can get this petcock working. There we go. This is out. So that should be off right there. And this should be on. Right there. Nothing's coming out. That's not pulling that up. There we go. That's freeing up a little bit. Here's the choke. Looks like that's locked up too. That whole thing can just pull off then, I think. Just like that. Little spring here too. think that was supposed to spring back the throttle. Drop that nut. So there's actually little reeds in here. So this little plate comes off, and we should be able to see those reeds. Yeah, it's definitely gonna break. You can see some buildup of old gas on the reeds there. Let's see if they're opening. Well, we'll take this apart and clean it up really good. That could be cleaned up quite a bit as well. A little gunked up in there. Here's the badge, the engine. Let's see what that says. There's the engine serial number, 7903. It says mix 1/2 pint oil per gallon of gasoline. Engine model, 82015. 2-cycle engine. Alright, here is the carb. We can start taking a look at that. So let's get this piece off first. This is where the air filter used to go. It's missing the little lid on there. Alright. Here's the choke. Now it's working. And then here is the throttle. You can see all the gunk in there. So I think what happened is old gas just sat in here for so long that it hardened up, and you can see it all in there. And it got that butterfly stuck because that was really stuck. But now it's springing back by itself, so it feels pretty good. And then here is the low setting for the carb and the high setting. So at high speeds, that's the screw adjuster. At low speeds, that's that adjuster right there. And then here's your throttle control here for your idle. So pretty simple carb. Let's start tearing it apart. It's gonna line up with right there. See what's going on inside. Uh-oh. Whoa. Not looking good. It's got that tar all over. Yuck. Yeah, doesn't look too good. Ooh. We might have to cut a new gasket for that. That is absolutely horrible. Ooh. Oh, that is bad. That's the worst I've seen it in a while. Wow. Yeah, there's no way that would have ever ran with that in there. And again, we're just going to mark this just in case. We have to put it back together here. But we'll try to make it work. Off without damaging the diaphragm. Oh yeah, look at all that. Passageways are all clogged. Not looking too good. Alright, then look at all this. So gently wipe that off. Alright. The second one can come off. Try not to rip anything. Oh. That's not looking too good. So there's the main diaphragm. And then right in here, you've got your needle and seat. That's completely locked up right there. Oh. Look at all this in there. Wow, is this bad? This is the pin. Ooh, that went flying. Got your little spring. Got this little piece that went flying. You can see the little needle right down in there. That's stuck in there. I don't want to pull on that spring too much either. So I think what we're going to do is just let this soak for a bit. And then come back and get this thing all cleaned up. So that is pretty nasty. Going in. Alright, carb out of the ultrasonic cleaner. We got the needle and the seat cleaned out. You can see that fits right in there like that. That's all cleaned out, looking good. And then we can see everything is cleaned out. Here's the diaphragm. That really softened up. So hopefully that'll be working properly. Every passageway is blown out and cleaned up. Everything looks perfect. So what we can do now is get everything back together. Let's get this carb reassembled. We've got the needle in there. You can see it's not stuck anymore. Moving up and down. So after that, got the diaphragm. That side faces down onto the needle. It's gonna go just like that. Then you've got this piece. This can go on just like that. And you've got the filter screen. Goes on just like that. This piece. Another filter. That piece goes on. Little screw. Got the screws that go all the way around. Alright, carburetor is looking good. So we can get that back on the bike here. Let's check out the reeds. So we can actually open these up. Clean these out a little bit. Let's check them out. Don't look too bad. And those off, but yeah, look at all that stuff that was in there. We're just gonna let this sit in the ultrasonic cleaner for a little bit. Get these really nice and clean. Yeah, gunk in there. All right, we got the reeds all cleaned up, looking good. We can reinstall those. All right, carb is on. Check this out. Throttle cable's working. Now we can work on the gas tank. All right. Let's see what comes out of the gas tank here. Let's see. There's not much in there. Yeah, it looks pretty nasty. Add up and see what that looks like. Whole thing should pull right out of here. Yeah, it's all gunked up. It's pretty clear. Oh yeah. It's nasty in there. We're just gonna let this sit in the ultrasonic cleaner for a bit. See if we can clear out some of that gunk in there. Alright, we got the petcock all cleaned out. Put a little tape on it. Alright, gas tank is back on. Let's get some fuel line going to it with a filter. So we'll put this line on right here. Probably cut it right here. Filter arrow pointing down. Goes on like that. Maybe cut that a little bit too small. We'll see. And get our other line on over here. Chop this right here. Let's see. I think that'll be fine. All right, a little 40-to-1 going in. Petcock works. It's probably gonna leak. Not seeing anything going in. Alright, we've got gas flow now. It just needed some air, so I took off the line here and it was free flowing, so that's good. Alright, should we see if it fires up? We're just going to spray a little gas down the carb here, give it a pull and see what happens. We have good spark, we have compression, and now we're getting gas to the carb, so let's see if she fires up here. Choke it. Alright, let's see what happens. She fired up. Did you see it kick up the mouse nest? Holy cow, look at that. Big mouse nest kicked out of the pipe. Alright, let's see if we can get this thing to run consistently now. not wanting to run consistently here. I don't think the carb's working. We're trying to prime up the carb here so that it pulls it in, but that diaphragm could be too far gone. We'll see. See it sucking in fuel. Alright, so for some reason the carb isn't pulling gas in on its own. We pour gas manually down the carb, it fires right up. So I know it's not anything to do with spark or compression. So it's just not getting fuel. So I'm guessing either that needle isn't opening or that diaphragm's not working. We're going to check it out, see if there's gas inside the carb here. Alright, open up the carb. It's completely dry in here. So gas must not be coming through where the needle is sitting. So either the diaphragm's not pushing this down to allow gas flow, or maybe that needle's still getting stuck. I don't know. Alright, look what I found. So the little tip of this seat was plugged up right there. That tiny little hole. And the needle fits down in there. Closes that off, opens it up. So that little thing was clogged, but now you can see right through it. So that's all free and open. I think what we might do is open up that little guy right here. The pilot jet is underneath there. So we might have to clean that out. I took out the low jet here and it was all gunked up. So I'm guessing that jet is bad too. So we're gonna try to take that cap off and get that little pilot out of there. Alright, carburetor's all cleaned out, ready to go. Back on the machine. Let's see if she continues to run now. tearing apart the carb again and looking at the diaphragm, you can actually see right through it. Look at that. So I don't think that's doing anything. There was no gas getting sucked in here at all. So unfortunately, I don't know if we can do much without the diaphragm here. We're gonna try to find one similar to it from a different snowmobile. Try to put that on there, but I don't think we have the right size. We'll look around for one and see what we can find, but I think that's the problem. That diaphragm is just so worn out. All right, we looked around for a diaphragm for this thing and I could not find one. And I searched up on Amazon the part number for the carb and that popped up. So it looks like they do sell a new carb rebuild kit for this thing. So we're probably gonna order that up. Well, looks like we're gonna have to wait for parts until we can ride this thing, unfortunately. I was hoping to get this thing running and driving today and rip it through the snow, but yeah, that's not gonna happen. It does not want to idle and stay running. So I think once we get that new diaphragm in the carb, this thing should be good as new. Our spark is very consistent, our compression is really good, so it's just that carburetor holding us back right now. So the carb kit is like $5. So we'll order that up, put that on, and we've got to hook up the brake, the new cable for that, and we'll take this thing for the first ride. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, we're close, very close. We'll get running and driving next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next one, and until next time, we are out.